Mr. Taylor was born April 13th, 1921, and he served in the European theater in World War II from December 42 to December 1945. My name is Dean Schoengert, and I will be interviewing Mr. Taylor this morning. William, where were you at the time that you entered the service?
Are we on camera now? I was on a farm northwest of Flush, Kansas, with the folks.
That's not far from here, is it?
Right.
And so, what was the occasion for you entering the service? Were you drafted?
Right.
You volunteer? Or
No. Drafted.
you were drafted. And where did you go after you were drafted?
Fort Leavenworth.
And you were there for, did you get a uniform there and get your hair cut and
Yeah.
stuff like that?
Yeah, and wait to go on.
And then where'd you go then?
Stewart, Camp Stewart, Georgia.
In Georgia.
Yeah.
How'd you get there?
We got there by train.
Kind of a troop train.
Right.
And you were on there day and night, I suppose.
As far as I can remember, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not very comfortable, and food not very good,
No.
and so you were down there for basic training.
Was there for basic training, and then we went to the desert in California
My goodness.
for the summer months.
There was another train ride clear out to California.
Yeah. Shipped the half tracks out there
Oh,
until fall. We scheduled, I guess, to go to Africa, but Africa was pretty well settled by then, so went back to the East Coast and then shipped across to England.
So that would have been now. You entered in December '42, and so where are we now when you went across to England?
That
Fall?
was just after Christmas.
Oh,
The following,
so it'd be '43 then. Like,
that would be 43.
uh-huh.
Went to England.
How did you get to England?
An English boat.
Like a troop ship of some kind.
Well, I suppose.
A lot of fellas on there with you.
It wasn't a very big boat. Took 7 days to get over.
7 days. Were you in a convoy or
No.
just one ship all by yourself?
Yeah, as far as I know. I was so sick I didn't know much about it.
Was that your first experience on the ship?
Yeah. Sicker than a dog.
Well,
That was in,
did you have any scares, submarine scares or anything like
not
that?
that I know of.
So you landed, where'd you land in England?
I don't remember.
Don't remember where that was. So this was before D-Day.
Yeah.
Long before D-Day.
Yeah, this was in January.
January '43. Is that right?
B-44.
344.
Yeah.
So you were in training a long time.
Yeah. Well, we didn't train over there. We just waited.
Yes. But you. Oh, I see. Yeah.
And then,
You trained. Were you actually shooting the artillery pieces in the desert?
in the desert, yeah, but not in England.
What size of gun were these?
Well, my half track had two 50 millimeters and one 37 millimeter. All three oriented to the same target. And we'd go in pairs, and the other half track had four 50 millimeters mounted on the half track.
So you waited a long time there in England?
till about June 1.
So it'll be close to 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have any unusual experiences in England? This your first time overseas at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Could you understand the English language
Oh yeah.
in England?
Yeah. About June, if I can remember right, June the 1st, we loaded on a boat to go across the channel. Sat out there till June the 5th and started out for France June 5th. And they claimed the waters was too rough.
Ah.
We went back to England, sat there, and then June 6th we went across.
And so you were in the first wave
Yeah.
of D-Day. What beach did you land on?
Well, it didn't land.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently the shells lit pretty close to our boat and busted it up, and was rescued with some other boat, and it took us back to England
Really?
to be re-equipped.
You lost your half track and everything?
Everything.
You ended up in the water
Well, I was rescued before the water.
before it sank.
Just got on this boat, turned around, and the boat went down, capsized. I think there was 8 of these boats in my outfit. 8 boats in my outfit. The other 7 got in,
Oh.
but mine didn't.
Well,
So we had some other half-tracks Cosmoline, and we was in England. I don't remember. Not very long.
what's
Went back
co
across.
what's Cosmoline?
The motor is all covered with clay or whatever it is, so it can be drove in water.
Aha. They unload you while you're still out in the water and
Yeah,
you
the
drive through
front
it.
end would go down, you drive off.
So that's what you did the second try?
Yep. Well, there was a little landing by then, but
Mm-hmm.
not much.
So
And then to get replacements, the Army had to send in as missing. And then the folks got that report that I was missing. And before they got a confirmation that I was still alive, they got a letter from me.
no.
So that's how fast the Army moved. They moved fast to report it, but not that fast to tell a different story.
Mm-hmm.
That was Omaha Beach that did it.
Omaha Beach.
It was Omaha Beach.
Yep.
So by the time you got there the second try, they established a little bit of a beach
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So you were able to get on without a lot of.
A lot of static.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so you drove right into the. Then what was your first assignment then after you got on the beach?
That I don't know. We were separate battalions, what we were. All during the war. We'd be attached to the infantry one time, and the artillery, tanks another drive. So I don't know.
Now, when you say battalion, what's the makeup of your battalion? About how many men and equipment and so forth?
I
They're
don't
all half tracks with the
Yeah.
guns on it like you described?
Yeah. There's 4 sections,
Uh-huh.
and I was in the 4th section, which consisted, I think, of 70 half tracks. I think I don't remember for sure.
That's what I want, 70 approximately.
So 70 times 4 would be something like that in the battalion.
When you say half track, to me that means the rear wheels were a track,
Tracks.
like a caterpillar.
Yeah.
And so then you began to move inland?
Yeah.
Pretty fast you went across France?
No, it's pretty slow. Pretty slow. Stationary line at St. Lo,
Uh-huh.
and there's was there quite a while at St. Lo.
You know what general you were serving under? Not Eisenhower, but who was your field?
Bradley,
Bradley, was it?
I believe. Bradley.
So, and did you keep on moving after St. Lo?
Yeah. Yeah, we, I think they call that going through northern France. I believe that's one of the qualifications for a medal. And they, what did they call it? Anyways, we run out of gas, I guess, the way they told us. And so we were stopped quite a while then. That was, I think I was up in Berlin, or up at, in Belgium then, for that, at that time.
Was there another outfit hauling gas to you, or how did you get your fuel?
Yeah, they would haul it to us.
And your food too?
Yeah.
Somebody supplied you with
Yeah,
food?
sometimes we stole it.
Uh-huh.
Never got arrested either.
Did you eat some of the eggs from the farmers or chickens or anything like that, or was it always military food?
Not always.
Were you sleeping on the ground? How
Absolutely. Never saw a good bed for 11 months.
11 months. Sometimes you're in a foxhole and sometimes you weren't.
Half track.
Or in the truck. Huh?
Yeah. Or a pitched tent and you couldn't drive a peg in.
Frozen.
Frozen. Yeah. And we crossed the Rhine on a pontoon bridge. You know what they are.
Yes.
How am I doing?
Is that kind of tricky, those bridges?
Oh,
not
no,
really.
not really.
Those engineers are really important to
Yep.
get that bridge there,
Yep.
wasn't it? So was that kind of an achievement to get into Germany? Were you in the Battle of the Bulge?
Yeah.
What happened then?
Hell.
It really was.
Hell got hot.
It really was.
It wasn't too good.
Is that about the hottest time that you had? The Germans really pushed us back, didn't they?
Yeah. I was at where the breakthrough came, but we got orders to move that night, to move up. And it was cold.
Was this in the forest? A lot of trees?
Yeah,
You got orders to move up?
yeah. From where I was at. Move up to the front.
To the front.
Yeah.
So then your battalion was all a part of the battle.
Yep.
But your half-tracks wasn't any match for the German tanks, were you?
No. That's right.
You really couldn't do much damage to a German tank,
Not
could you?
where you shoot them in the boot, what they call the boogie. Little wheels that your track runs on.
Yeah.
You knock them out and you've knocked the tank out.
That's what you tried to do.
Yeah. So from there we went to,
Were you faster than they were? So
and we could go about 45 miles an hour on the level.
was that, what kind of personnel was in a half-track?
Personnel,
How many people?
my track,
Yeah.
there was five.
Five.
Five back in the turn.
Uh-huh.
Me, driver, and sergeant.
I know what those 5 do in the turn.
They run the gun.
Somebody did the shooting, somebody did the loading,
Yeah.
all that.
Feed the gun in, feed the ammunition in.
So the sergeant then ordered where you're to go and where do you shoot, that sort of thing.
He'd get the orders from on up.
Uh-huh. By radio or something.
Yeah. Then from there we went to, what do they call it, northern France somewhere. Got to Leipzig, Germany, and they stopped us. And let the Russians take Berlin. I'm not sure how far. I'm saying 90 miles from Berlin is Leipzig. I'm not positive. But anyway, the Russians took Berlin. You knew that.
Yes.
We went south, and I was just outside of Prague, Czechoslovakia,
Prague.
when it was over. There wasn't much going on down there anymore. Then we waited for orders to come home.
How did you get the news that it's over?
Radio.
Came over the radio.
You were in 5 battles, weren't you?
5 major battles.
Yeah,
Can you name them?
I can read them. I'm all right.
You're okay.
Normandy, Rhineland, Ardennes, northern France, Central Europe.
Did you run into any of the concentration camps?
No.
You didn't see that.
No, didn't.
What was it like when the war officially ended? Then things changed pretty dramatically, or did you still have to watch out for somebody shooting at you?
No, not really. We went to
You're down near Prague, you said?
no, we left Prague pretty quick and went back to Germany
Uh-huh.
and patrolled. I can't think of that damn town.
You patrolled.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Keep peace, keep the civilians down. If anything like over here in Iraq break out, we had a German interpreter. Funny, I can't think of that doggone town.
Was the interpreter a German or?
Yeah, he had been in the Air Force.
Uh-huh.
Nice fella. So our officers asked for volunteers to ride a certain area in a Jeep. There'd be 2 Americans and a German. And we had our regular area, and we patrolled that till we got orders to move closer to the coast to get ready to come home. I've mentioned that name many a time. Can't think of it. But that was, see, I got home in December, so I suppose that was from probably the latter part of June till in maybe October, patrolled this town.
You have any incidents in
No.
patrolling? It
Not a
was
thing.
just
Not a thing.
so you really didn't feel threatened by the German
No.
ordinary population. And,
Dead dang glad we were there. Yep.
Was this a bombed out area that you were going through?
Yeah. Darn.
Big city?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's big.
So right away the Germans began to open up their stores and rebuild, or
No, there wasn't any rebuilding done. Yeah,
they were just trying to survive?
yeah.
Were you trying, was our military trying to do anything to get them water or food or anything? Were you having to?
That I have no idea.
Okay.
No idea. I know one is
Yes.
this German guy that was patrolling with us lived outside of the area that we're patrolling. And he arranged with his wife. So one night we tiptoed up there and ate supper with him and his wife. We're supposed to be patrolling, but we weren't. Good GIs. She put out a good meal.
Really?
Yeah.
Had he been in the United States and that's how he knew English, or had he just
That
been
I
in
don't.
school?
I don't have any idea.
Did you think you were going to have to go to the Pacific?
Yeah. You betcha. I remember that. I think that terminated about August 6th or 7th. That was good news.
Where were you then? Still in Germany?
Still in that town
Mhm.
in Germany. I can't think of it.
That wasn't Prague, was it? That's
No.
Czechoslovakia.
No. I'm lost.
Well, when you think about it, quite remarkable the quick recovery that Germany made.
Well, they got a lot of help, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
I guess their economy's good now.
But there was a lot of confusion at that time, wasn't there? We had the British section and the American section and the Russian section, and Berlin was in the Russian area, and it's amazing that that things turned out as well as they did, really.
I guess Reagan is the one that got the wall torn down. He
Yeah, it's
kind of believe it was.
yeah. That's a whole other story, isn't it?
Yep.
So how did you get back home? You took a ship from France?
Big ship. Big one.
Was that a good experience for you, or better than coming over, or
Coming back
was better than
was a
coming over?
whole lot better. That boat couldn't go fast enough. Yeah.
Got to New York, and what happened? Were you headed here to Kansas?
Yeah, I think I was discharged Chaffee, Kansas.
Chaffee.
Camp Chaffee.
And what have you done since military service?
Well, Dad had rented some ground, bought some machinery.
Did you use a GI loan to do that?
No. No, but they had the GI Bill,
Yes.
prematured bill, I guess you'd call it. You could report once a month and get they call it a 1020 or 1030 or something. You draw $100 a month just to report your income and expenses. And use Dad's machinery and what little I bought. Then the landlord's boy come home and he wanted it. And I couldn't find an inch of ground.
Were you married by that time?
No. Didn't even know her.
Really?
Oh, you bet it was. Them was the good old days. So, couldn't find no farm. So I sold the machinery and went to work at the agronomy farm at the college.
Really?
I worked up there 2 years. And during that time we got married. And I worked for a guy west of here when I was in high school on the farm. I heard, is that thing still clicking?
Yes, sir.
Oh my, just ready to cuss.
Save it
Huh? Save it?
for a later time. Say what you want to.
It ain't working?
It's working.
I heard he was an old man, and I heard he wanted a young fella to come in with his cattle and be a partner. So I went out and seen him, and he liked the way I worked. And so somebody was telling me that they got a different GI Bill going. I said, I've already told me to go to a tailor that was ag teacher in high school in Manhattan. Go see him. Went and seen him, and he says, I think you're entitled to some more GI Bill. Oh, I've already drawed it. 1 year. He said, you're entitled to 4 more years. So I started farming and drawed $97.50 for 4 years. Instead of going to school, you could join this schooling. I had to go to the high school every other week, I believe it was, and get some training on bookkeeping and farming, and so that got us started. I was there. We were there 4 years, and had a chance to come here on the same basis, partnership, and
Through the 51 flood there.
yeah, 51 flood. Just started farming in 49, and complete flood failure in 51. And then we come here for 10 years, 50-50 on the cattle, and the older ones died off and they wanted to sell it. So we finagled it around and bought it. Then rented some other ground around and kept it going.
Did you ever get out of debt?
Yes. Yes, we were.
So you finally got your land clear here?
No. You asked if we were out of debt, and the answer is yes, we were. Had the place paid for. Well, there's 3 neighbors that kicked the bucket, and I was farming their land, and the heirs wanted to sell it. So we went in debt. So we're in debt today. A little, not much. But there's quite a few acres involved too.
Okay.
So here we are today.
Well, thank you, Mr. Taylor. Appreciate your service. You look to be in good health still.
Yes, I am.
You got equipment around here, look like you're still farming.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
About 700 acres. Well, not quite. Not quite. Are we off?
How many children did you have?
1
Boy or girl?
boy.
Has he joined in the farming at all?
Well, is that thing on? I don't want to advertise too much.
Ship, I forget the name of that ship. I know it, but I have it written down elsewhere in the order sheet that I have for my copies at home. I can't think of it now. But anyway, it was a huge ship that carried troops at one time. And they brought us home to the States, to Washington, D.C. Washington State, Seattle, back to Seattle. Then they had a elevator in the Seattle building where you can go all the way down, or you can go all the way up. Wherever you want to go, you can get off on. It was an unusual thing that we'd seen. But that's the way it was. That's the way we did. So we went and did the town. There were about 12 of us. Because it was so long since we've seen any civilian clothes. We wanted to look. We got to Washington, D.C. finally. And we wanted to see these different stores and that. And we did go, I'm telling you, just like a woman would want to. And, and we said, well, when we sat down to eat,